Good morning and welcome to the May 16th, 2024 City of Glendale Arts and Culture Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Yank,
Here.
Commissioner Tufenkian,
Here.
Commissioner Zadorian,
Here.
Commissioner Pogosian,
Here.
and Chairperson Vidor.
Here.
And Commissioner Alexandrian is absent. Agenda item 1, the agenda for the May 16th, 2024 regular meeting of the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission was posted on May 13th, 2024 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Agenda item 2, consent items, minutes of the April 18th, 2024 regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission.
Do we have any questions, comments, edits on the minutes? Okay, we can.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second?
Roll
Okay.
call.
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Commissioner Tufenkian. Okay, Commissioner Zadorian
Yes.
and Chairperson Vidor.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 3, introductions and presentations, library arts and culture events presented by Loretta Lopez, Program Coordinator. May is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We pay tribute to the local Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities in a celebration of history and culture and in recognition of the community's struggle for inclusion and equity. For events, programs, and resources, please visit the link on the screen. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Glendale Library Arts and Culture has joined the national movement Wellness Wednesday to promote physical, mental, and emotional well-being. This weekly program offers tips on how to engage in self-care activities as well as to provide access to self-help books, videos, and activities to ensure a healthy state of mind during stressful times. For resources, workshops, and more information, please visit the link on the screen. Join the Associates of Brand Library and Arts Center for the Real Art Film Series on Thursday, May 16th at 5:30 p.m. for a screening of Bella, a documentary about the life, work, influence, and impact of LA-based dancer, choreographer, and arts activist Bella Lewitsky. A post-screening discussion and Q&A with Director Bridget Murnane will follow. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Glendale Library Arts and Culture invites you to join a series of virtual author talks in partnership with the Library Speakers Consortium. On Tuesday, May 21st at 4 p.m., join us for a thrilling conversation with Rebecca F. Kwong as she chats with us about her New York Times bestselling novel, Yellowface. Yellowface grapples with questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, as well as the terrifying alienation of social media. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Central Library will be closing temporarily to the public from Friday, May 24th through Wednesday, June 19th, 2024, as part of our ongoing Youth Spaces renovation. You can reach Central Library staff at 818-548-2021 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays through Fridays during this closure. We will resume normal business hours on Thursday, June 20th, 2024 at 9 a.m. For alternate branch locations and hours, please visit eglendalelac.org/hours of operation. For more information can also be found by visiting the link on the screen. Applications for this year's Beyond the Box mural art program are now open. The theme of this year's program is Art and Science Collide in celebration of Glendale Library Arts and Culture's participation in PST Art and Science Collide, which is the Getty Foundation's Southern California Regional Arts and Culture Initiative, returning in September 2024. This year's theme will create opportunities for civic dialogue around some of the most urgent problems of our time by exploring past and present connections between art and science. The ACC will fund $1,000 per utility box, and the deadline to apply is June 21st at 5 p.m. For more information, please visit the link on the screen.
Any comments? Anyone? Okay.
Can you
Next.
actually just remind, where will you guys be working out of while the library is closed?
Library staff will still be in the actual building,
Okay.
but the libraries will be closed.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item.
And item 4, written communications, there are none. Oral communications, there are none. Agenda item 6, action items. First, we have Arts and Culture Commission, sponsorship guidelines, note and file.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Fukutomi-Jones, Principal Arts and Culture Administrator. So in September of 2023, the Commission reviewed and approved sponsorship guidelines that are currently on our website, which includes guidelines for procedure of how to submit for sponsorship requests, in addition to a form that sponsors are people who are interested in sponsorships are required to fill out. We did want to update the sponsorship guidelines with 2 small updates, specifically in regard to the fiscal sponsorship range. Originally, it was $3,000 to $7,000. We're now proposing it would be $1,000 to $10,000, depending on the scope of the project. And the other sponsorship update that we wanted to include is the fiscal amount that would be first recommended by the chairperson and then presented to the commission for approval. So those are the 2 main updates that are part of the sponsorship guidelines.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question. When you said, so the chairperson recommends, so when people apply online, the first person to see it would be you, and then you then pass it along to the chairperson, who then will either recommend or not recommend, and then we will see it as a group.
Correct.
And then it does go to council after?
No.
Does
if
not.
it's just sponsorship for the commission, this would be the
Okay.
final approval.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I assume, does anyone else? Okay, we have an order here.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
didn't know if anyone else had a question.
Yeah, let's do it in order. Okay, go ahead.
Quick question. I can't remember if we had, what we budgeted for that. How do we budget for that ahead of time?
We do have a budget line item for sponsorship specifically. I think we included about $15,000 to $17,000 per fiscal year. We could always play with the budget depending on how we're doing. We're very low on expenditures currently for this fiscal year, so it's possible to include additional sponsorships for this fiscal year. But that's about approximately what we budget per year.
Okay, so if we do go over 17,000, it's fine. We can just,
Correct, we can absorb it.
Okay, any, Commissioner Pagosian?
I don't have
No.
any questions.
I read the rewrite, and I think it's good that you articulated what we don't sponsor, the types of events we don't sponsor. For me, the 2 main things were the range, and I think I saw, there was just mention of 17,000. I saw that we were 3,000 to 5,000, and now we're 1,000 to 7,000. Is that correct?
We're 1 to 10,
10.
the sponsorship range of possibilities.
Okay. I would like to have kind of a straw poll on the group agreeing that 1 to 10 is appropriate. But before we do that, I think right up at the top, since the amount of time people take between applying and the actual event itself was getting a little tight in some situations, that we might want to repeat that. You know, when people read online, they really read, it's kind of fast and attention deficits and things like that. So let's put it twice, up at the top and down in that. You have like a table of timelines for different things people have to do. So yeah, skip down to that, because for me, now personally, I find it hard to read anyway, but I found it hard to read this way, and I was wondering if you could put that, starting with the thing that's the farthest out, going down to, right before the meeting, could you put that in a table format?
Sure.
Okay, that would just
Absolutely.
make it a little bit more consolidated.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. We can work
Okay.
with our designer
Okay,
who
'cause
does
there-
all of our postcards. Who can,
It looks like you've elaborated quite a bit on some things, and that's good, but that particular section. So before we agree on this, are we voting on this today?
it's a motion to note and file.
Oh, okay. So I just want to make sure, and then it will go into effect,
Correct.
right? Okay. So does anyone have anything about the range of sponsorship, 1 to 10,000?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, everybody's shaking their head, so note and file.
I'd like to make a motion to note and file for the new sponsorship guidelines.
I'll second.
Okay.
Noted and filed. Okay, go ahead.
Roll call, Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Commissioner Tufenkian, Commissioner Zadorian.
Yes.
And Chairperson Vidor.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item 6B, Armenian Film Society sponsorship opportunity. Motion approving 1, the funding of a proposal by the Armenian Film Society to provide arts programming associated with the Armenian Film Festival from September 4th through 8th, 2024, and 2, the sponsorship of the Armenian Film Festival in an amount not to exceed $5,000 from the 2024 to 2025 work plan.
Commissioners, as we just discussed, we have a sponsorship opportunity in front of you. We've invited Armen Karagoglian, the founder and CEO of the Armenian Film Society, who has an opportunity for sponsorship for your consideration.
Thank you for having me. My name is Armen Karagoglian. I'm one of the founders, along with my wife Mary, of Armenian Film Society. I'd like to take just a little bit of time to talk a little bit about what the Armenian Film Society is and what we do. We can go to the next slide. So my wife Mary and I started Armenian Film Society in 2015 in Glendale. We've been based in Glendale ever since. We are a nonprofit, and our sort of mission and goal has been to shine a spotlight on Armenian films and filmmakers. And since our founding, we've hosted over 100 events, mostly in Glendale. We've partnered with a lot of notable organizations like Vidiotz, American Cinematheque, the Academy, all of whom are some of the leading organizations when it comes to film. We've also welcomed a lot of really notable guests to our events, including a lot of Academy Award winners and filmmakers both of Armenian and non-Armenian descent. We've held screenings in all of the theaters in Glendale, and our goal was really to create a creative and cultural hub in Glendale that's centered around film. My background is in film. I went to film school. I started off as a filmmaker, but I also realized very early on that there wasn't a lot of opportunities and room for networking for Armenians in the industry. But the organization's mission has sort of evolved significantly over the last 9 years or so. Next slide. We provide year-round screenings and events and workshops and lectures for the community. Our events are not exclusively for Armenians. They're for film lovers and filmmakers. Many non-Armenians come to our events and extract a lot of value from hearing very notable filmmakers share their experiences. We've had a lot of folks come to our events, network, get jobs, find mentors, and we serve as sort of like the connecting tissue of folks who want to break into the industry and break into the next stages in their careers. And we're one of the only organizations of its kind that sort of do what we do in terms of networking in the industry, but also the year-round events that we provide. And I'm here to talk about the Armenian Film Festival and a possible sponsorship from the commission. So last September, we launched the inaugural Armenian Film Festival in Glendale. It was held in September, and our opening and closing nights were at the Alex Theater. All of our other screenings were at the Langley Theaters in Glendale. We also worked with Hero House and a couple of other venues to host some of our events. We used the opportunity to celebrate the centennial of Armenian cinema, and the festival itself was designed to be a celebration of Armenian films. We welcomed over 1,500 attendees in that first film festival, which was held over 5 days. We had visitors from all around the world, including China and the Netherlands. And we had some really great guests, including Howard Kazanjian, who is an Armenian producer who produced Indiana Jones and Star Wars, as well as Seb Ohanian, who is a young and emerging film producer who's worked on some of the biggest Hollywood movies, who's former Glendale resident and Hoover High alumni. We received a lot of great attention and press. We received national coverage by Fox. We had some great media outlets write about us. The opening night film of our festival was a film called Amerikatsi, which ended up becoming the first Armenian film to ever be shortlisted at the Academy Awards, and Armenian Film Society worked on that film's Oscar marketing campaign as well. Next. These are just some photos, some visual sense of what our events have looked like in the past. To the left is from the opening night of our film festival, where Michael Gurjan is seen talking with actress Neve Campbell. And to the right is a photo of a screening that we had with a film that ended up winning the Academy Award this year, The Last Repair Shop, and some other images as well. So I'm here to talk about this year's festival. everything we've done with the Armenian Film Society has really just been through the resources that we have internally. But we have a lot of great plans for what this year's festival is going to look like. We've already started working on it. And next slide, please. I'm here to talk about how the commission can help us with a sponsorship. I've outlined some of the ways in which your sponsorship support would help us. I'm happy to go into more detail and elaborate if anyone has any questions. But some of the significant costs with the festival include venue rentals, licensing of films, print and advertising costs. There's many, many more that I haven't listed. But your support would help us not just be able to have the next festival in Glendale again, but allow us to dream a little bit bigger and be able to continue providing the cultural impact that we envision. And I know the agenda notes that we're asking for 5,000, and I would be very grateful if we receive that. If there's any way to consider the maximum of 7,000, I would appreciate it. There's a lot of costs, as you can imagine, with organizing a film festival, and any bit really helps us be able to accomplish what we want to do. But we look at this festival as an ongoing year-round festival that will grow every year, that will not just be, for the Glendale community, but for the outside communities as well. We had a lot of folks who came to our festival telling us that, they read about the Armenian Festival in some of the trade magazines, which were kind of covering the festival in anticipation. And they said, I've never seen an Armenian film. I'm not familiar with Armenian stories. I have Armenian friends. I'd like to use this opportunity to learn a little bit more about that group of people. And our goal is to be able to provide a platform for more of our stories and be able to share underrepresented, filmmakers, and be able to provide a platform for them. And your support would be tremendous. Everything we've done has been for the Glendale community, and I feel like our goals are very aligned with what the commission seeks to do and what the Armenian Film Society does as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Commissioner Yang, do you have any comments or questions? No? Commissioner Tufenkian.
How many days is the event?
The event this year will also be 5 days in September. We're actually finalizing the details with the venue and the dates later this afternoon. Our goal is to do it from September 4th through the 8th at Look Cinemas on Artsakh in Glendale.
And how many films do you typically show?
We, last year, we had about 15 or 20 films, a handful of feature films, about a dozen or so short films. Fortunately, this year, we've already started receiving a lot of submissions. Our goal is to probably double that and just maximize the amount of time that we have to feature as many films as we can. But I would probably estimate a double from last year.
And another question, I don't know if that's even something that we should ask or not, but obviously this is a huge undertaking, and 5,000 or 7,000 is just going to be a small little drop of the whole thing. Where does most of the funding come from?
That's a great question. As most of what we've done in years past, everything has been financed privately through us, and then we hope to make up some of the costs through ticket sales and the different events that we put on. I think it's really rare that last year we actually not just broke even, but made a little bit of a profit on the festival. So this year we would do the same. We had some sponsors step in last year, a lot of whom are interested in coming back this year. And so we hope to cover the costs through a variety of other sponsorships throughout the year. So that's the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Zadorian?
I'm very excited to hear your presentation. I know the Armenian Film Society. I know just how big it is on its scale in Glendale and what you guys have done. I love that you have always been using Glendale, that it's a nonprofit in Glendale. And I think it really envisions the impact and goals that we have as a commission. So I full-heartedly will support this, and I agree that we can give 7,000. That should not be an issue if the rest of the commission does agree. I think it's great that this is a platform for different stories and people, and so I wholeheartedly will support.
Commissioner Bokosi?
I don't have any questions, but we will all support this. And I also attended all the events that happened last year, and I look forward to attending it this year too. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I had a similar question to Commissioner Tufenkian's. I'm interested in knowing if you have a set budget, what the budget, operating budget is, or maybe you don't have it yet, but last year's, for instance, what it was.
Sure. Last year's budget was 15,000. This year's budget is tentatively budgeted to 30.
30.
So that's kind of what we're looking at the moment.
And I'm glad to hear that you have people coming forward to sponsor with you, and I wondered if you have any corporate or nonprofit organizational sponsors.
Currently, we have a couple of sponsors on board. The Los Angeles Film Harmonic and the Armenian Film Society entered a partnership agreement that hasn't been announced yet. And part of that partnership is that they'll be sponsoring this year's festival. And a lot of the sponsors that we had last year will likely be on board again this year. But in terms of some of the bigger names, I think the LA Film Harmonic is one. We're looking at partnering with Letterboxd, which is one of the largest movie apps globally. And we'll be partnering with a variety of national companies as well as some local ones as well.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned the venue, but I think I missed it. Where are you showing the films?
Look Cinemas on Artsakh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's all based in Glendale.
Yeah. It's funny. Today's the day to kind of get all of the pieces together for the festival. It seems like this afternoon we should finalize the agreement with them, which includes the dates and the venue. But the plan is to host the entirety of the festival this year at that one location.
Great. Okay. Are there any, I'm just curious, this is really not part of the approval process, but are there any events, like do you have receptions and things for the
Absolutely.
filmmakers and
Absolutely. So one of the reasons why we want to do the festival at Look this year is because they have, if you've been, they have a bar and lounge area. And one of the things that we've realized through our events year round is that our guests like to hang out before screenings, after screenings. I think everybody wants to talk after they see a film. And one of the things that we realized last year was, folks were looking for a place to be able to convene. And so we will be hosting a lot of receptions before, after. Certainly our opening night and our closing night is usually a really big celebration. They have the space for us to be able to host those. And so we will have those receptions. We will have a number of events leading up to the festival. We have an event this Sunday, we have one next Wednesday, and all of those events also have some kind of reception that's part of it that gives people an opportunity to get together and hang out a bit. So the festival will certainly have that. They provide the space for it, so it's sort of the ideal space for us to host a festival.
Great, thank you.
I just have a
Okay.
couple questions,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, I was
I
going
thought
to
of a
do
couple.
another round anyway, so go ahead.
Just quickly, are you all are a 501c3
Yes,
nonprofit?
yes.
Okay. And then the other question was just how you acknowledge sponsors at the event.
Great question. I'm happy to share a document that has more details on this, but our sponsors are recognized through all of our social media and communications. And then at the festival, depending on the level of sponsorship, we have sponsor recognition on screen, on stage, in our printed materials. And so I can follow up with a document that kind of outlines everything in detail, but we make sure our sponsors get recognized as much as possible. We're really big on social media. We have sort of our community that lives there, and it's sort of the place where we share all of our news and events. And so we make sure that we tap into that as much as we can, but also the in-person activations as well.
Thank you.
Good, thank
You're
you.
good?
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to ask, so thank you.
No.
Okay. Well, we may have to have a third round for this, but I would certainly support going up to 7. I don't know what your levels are, do you have like,
We do.
you do have like, I don't know what you call them, but named levels of certain amounts of money?
Sure, we have a 5, 10, 15, and $25,000 sponsorship ranges.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's no 7.
There's no 7, but I'm really grateful for everyone considering the 7, and we'd love to send you the details of what our $10,000 sponsorship range looks like and be able to provide the benefits that come with that sponsorship tier.
Okay. Well, we could even take another consideration. What did we just approve or note to file on our sponsorship?
1 to 10.
It's a motion to note and file, but the range is now $1,000 to $10,000.
Okay.
As of right now in this meeting, we can vote for 10.
Okay. We will certainly want to have a motion here. Does anybody have anything to discuss about the amount that they're recommending? Given the fact that we now have 1 to 10, we can change it, we can leave it the way it is. We could 5, 7, 10 are the three things that are on the table, so.
I'm comfortable with the 7. I think that's a good
7,
amount.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with the 10, if that's something that's within our budget. But you did say that we are spending less, so we have the funds.
I feel like a festival such as this would probably be some of the bigger projects that come forth, right? Do we foresee any other big projects that might warrant the 10,000?
The initial recommendation for $5,000 was based on previous first-time sponsorships. So for example, the Glendale International Film Festival received $5,000, the Adams Hill Neighborhood Association received $5,000. So that was what the recommendation was. It's completely up to the purview of the commission to decide the sponsorship level based on the scope of work.
Well, does somebody want to make a motion and then we can vote on it?
Are we
But
in
what is the
agreement on the
motion on
amount,
the
though?
amount?
There's only one way to find out.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the funding of the proposal by the Armenian Film Society for $10,000 for their September 4th to 8th festival.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, can we have a roll call on that?
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Commissioner Tefankian,
Yes.
Commissioner Zadorian,
Yes.
and Chairperson Vidor.
Yes. We doubled you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This as I'm sure you know, will go a long way. Everything that we've worked hard for the last 9 years, I really feel like it's come together in this moment, and really, really am grateful. My wife as well. I look forward to working with all of you, and I'll see you at the film festival.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Make sure to
Thank
put us
you.
on your mailing list.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm on it.
All right. Sponsorship. Now we go on to item 7, no, 7.
7A.
7A.
Okay, discussion
7A.
items,
Yeah.
agenda 7A, Be the Change Armenian History Celebration Event.
Commissioners, in 2020, the Library Arts and Culture staff established the Be the Change Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism series, which is intended to elevate the voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. We've been very successful as a department to be able to produce events based on the fiscal sponsorship from the commission for these events. We've invited staff members Edith Voskanians and Sarah Walker to share about the Armat Festival that occurred on April 13th.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us to speak about our work during Armenian History Month. This project has evolved into one that's very close to our hearts. And it's also part of our Glendale Library Arts and Culture Be the Changes series, which is our library's promise to elevate voices and stories within our Glendale community.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Edith Voskanians. I am the librarian specialist for the Maker Technologies at the Glendale Central Library's Central Branch.
And my name is Sarah Walker, and I'm the Teen Services Librarian at Glendale Library Arts and Culture Central Library.
All right. So We were inspired by the Armenian community's devotion to family, tradition, and culture, and how they all play a role in keeping our history alive. And we were trying to create as much multi-generational celebratory events as we could that feature art, music, dance, and food. Now, the word Armat means root in the Armenian language, and the Armat Armenian History Celebration represents the roots of the Armenian heritage in Glendale. We chose the pomegranate motif that you see to honor that connectedness with the branches representing the Armenian diaspora in our community, growing and learning together through the shared roots. Now, along with the big events we have planned for the month, we also include book list recommendations and local and national resources compiled in one place to make it accessible to the wider audience.
In 2023, this was the first year we took on this project, and our theme was Origins, a celebration of Armenian artists, creators, and inventors who've made an impact on the world. We planned our event at our Central Library branch, and we activated multiple spaces, inviting over 10 exhibitors. Many different individual artists were represented, as well as USC's oral history footage that was presented to the community, along with intergenerational activities. Library patrons and the general public were invited to participate in a dance workshop as well to learn traditional Western Armenian decolonized dance history and heritage. This was a wildly successful program last year. Over 1,800 people were in attendance, all different age ranges, and everyone had a really wonderful time. It was very heartwarming to see all the different age groups coming together, listening to Armenian story time in Armenian language, dancing together in a large circle with our Lernezang ensemble, which was one of the past relationships that our library has worked with, as well as the Arts and Culture Commission. And it was also our inaugural presentation of the first Glendale Poet Laureate, Rafi Joe Wartanian, who presented poetry to our community.
Now, for 2024, our goal was to expand and diversify the number of partnerships that we had with the community, while also focusing on elements of the Artsakh region. This currently, our central branch, where it was held in 2023, is undergoing multiple construction projects. So we had to move the celebration to the Pacific Park Community Center, the giant gym, which was the perfect venue for something like this. This year, we had over 15 community partners, Armenian Film Society being one of them. And we were also had food presentations by chef and author Arazada. We had dance and music from the Lernezang ensemble. We featured many independent artists such as Nelly Astvatsartrian. And the event was hosted by our very own Rafi Joe Wartanian as well. He was the MC for the event. Now, you may know we Armenians consider food as a vessel to share our cultures with many others, and which was imperative to include that element as well. We partnered with local family-owned businesses that include Urartu Coffee Shop and a Michelin star guide recognized Chinkalov Huts. Urartu provided the Nazuk pastries and Armenian coffee, or surt, if you will, and Chinkalov Huts provided Chinkalov Huts, which is a traditional flatbread dish native to the Artsakh region. Now, on the next slide, we have prepared a short video that was compiled by GTV6 of last year's event that hosted more than 1,000 attendees.
So we have received an overwhelming amount of positive feedback from our community, specifically from one of our local bookstore owners, Arno Yoritsian from the Abril bookstore. He has mentioned that these events are long overdue and we're really bringing the community together and uplifting the community as we represent Armenian culture and heritage.
And here's another example. This is a community painting, which was hosted by one of the partners, Doodles Without Borders. And the program featured, all the participants, mainly the little ones, to come in, color in, paint, doodle, and complete the painting together. Now, these events have garnered media attention from various news outlets such as ABC7, Horizon News Armenia, USA Armenia, NPR, and LA Daily News.
Yes, and we want to thank you so much and just say thank you to the Arts and Culture Commission for generously sponsoring our event for the past couple years. We're really hoping to bring our Glendale community together again next year so that everyone can make their own personal connection with Armenian culture. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions?
It just seemed like a really excellent event, so kudos to all of the staff for pulling that off. That takes a lot of organization and time, so thank you. Yeah.
Of course, our pleasure.
Yes, congratulations. That seemed really, really exciting. And I think you covered a lot of bases, dance, music, food, everything. So, and it looked like there were a lot of kids, a lot of families. So, excellent program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Commissioner Zadorian?
I'm going to second what has been said. I've only heard amazing things about this event. I'm really looking forward to next year. And it's also just very nice to meet more of our library staff. So thank you for coming here. We'd love to see more of you. Thank you.
Commissioner Bogosian?
No, I don't have any comments, but I know how long it takes for you guys to organize all this, to be organized. I was there last year and this year too, and I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you for your presentation.
Well, same here. Great work. Looking forward to it. I'm really impressed with how extensive it is. And I'm curious, obviously we're sponsoring, I don't know what our amount is and who the other sponsors are, so I'm just interested in how this all comes together.
So the Arts and Culture Commission has a budget line item for $40,000 for the Be the Change series, and that includes
Okay.
events throughout the year. So
So
Armont
this
is one
is
of them.
incorporated into that line item specifically. Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And keeping
And,
us updated.
Just a note, I want to say thank you to all the community partners. When you say who is sponsored, it's just the library, and many of them dedicate their time and presence and programs to the event. We have hosted film screenings last year with the Armenian Film Society. They were here this year as a partner. We have various, local businesses, organizations, individuals, artists who come to share their craft and art with the community, and we really, truly appreciate everybody
And
who
that's-
participates in events like this.
Great that you have community volunteerism.
Absolutely.
Very strongly supporting you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
I also do want to thank the Community Services and Parks Department. They were able to help us host this year due to Central
Yes.
Library's construction project. So thank you to the Community Services and Parks Department.
Thank you, Community
Yes.
Services and Parks as well.
Go team.
Okay, good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Okay, on to the next item.
Agenda item 7B, display of public art in city-owned facilities, guidelines and procedures.
During the last Arts and Culture Commission meeting, I believe Chairperson Vidor wanted to discuss the procedures for displaying public artworks in city-owned facilities. So this is the opportunity to begin that discussion.
Okay, well, we're going around here, so would you like me to make a comment to give a
Let's
little
go on.
context to
Yeah.
it? Okay. We actually have an administrative procedure that was written quite a while ago, I think back in 2017, on the books for how we handle and approve loans, donations, and other forms of artwork that make their way into the public domain or not. one of the things that is stated in this is that, at least at the staff level, anything that is placed in a public building or a public space is reviewed by the staff. And there are some cases where this has not occurred. And I think it's important for us to revisit that policy. And because I don't think we only look at it when something comes up, but we obviously, some things have come through, and we need to look at that and see if we need to change it in any way. So I would like to propose that we give the assignment to our staff, not that they don't have enough to do already, but to look at this policy and see what we can do to fine-tune it and make sure that everybody in the city understands it, because we want to make sure that, we have a diverse array of art that's going to land in public spaces, if it hasn't already, and we want to make sure that we're telegraphing a good image of ourselves, that we understand art, its importance, and we place it properly, and that we get proper approvals and assessment of anything that is placed in the public space. So that was the context of my concern. And if anybody has any questions or comments about this issue, I'd love for us to have a little discussion. So I'll start with you, Commissioner Yank, and from there.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with what the current policy is or where the state of the city's current kind of art collection lies. So I feel like for me, always information gathering is really helpful. Just knowing like what are the holdings of the city, and then where are the places where things are displayed, and just having kind of a systematic sort of audit of what we have, and if there's because then I think that helps us determine like, is the artwork, is diversity a need? Is the artwork improperly hung in some places? Like, to identify where the issues might lie, because I'm not completely sure what those are at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
And I will interject that there are a number of pieces of public art, sculptures and things that were approved through, before there was even a commission or before we had a policy, that have been put up and never got approval. And I'm certainly not suggesting that major pieces that are in the public domain that we would revisit all of them. I don't want to mention any particular pieces, but some came before, are grandfathered in somehow. But I agree with you. We should know exactly what they are and where they are, and have an inventory of everything. Okay.
Yes, and, I think before having, for me at least, before having such a conversation, not only would I want to know what our inventory is, also where can we find the guidelines to really familiarize ourselves with that, to see what needs to be changed or added or tweaked.
Mhm.
So if you let us know that would be great.
Great.
I agree. I'm okay with anything that you guys do want to move forward with. My only question is, what are we considering to fall under this kind of, what kind of art are we going to be, looking at? Is it going to be like anything that's on the walls of any of our public buildings? Is it specific to art that's only been donated? I mean, we need to be very specific, because I'm not exactly sure what we're referring to.
Okay, well, if you have any questions or comments, Commissioner Pagosian will take those, and then I'll address it.
I don't have any
No?
no.
Well, as Commissioner Yank said, I think it makes perfect sense to look at everything. Now, there are some pieces of art, and, I don't remember where they all are. I think this was done at one time, wasn't it? There was an inventory done, maybe by an intern, or, but we can revisit it. There are pieces of public art on it at the fire station, the police station, in City Hall. So buildings and public grounds, which would include any space, whether it's outdoors or indoors, that is a public space. I think we need to look at everything.
No, that I understand. I mean, when we're referring to art, are we only referring to, let's say, like the painting downstairs currently at City Hall? Are we referring to the photos of historic Glendale on the walls of our buildings? I mean, what are we considering art?
Well, photos is always a subject, photography, that is questionable, and I would put the category of historic photos, I would put that more into a journalistic category, just
And we're
because.
not going to be looking at those.
Can you specify what you're talking about?
So I'm just trying to understand if we're going to be looking at guidelines for art in the city, is it any type of art? Is it art that's been painted? Is it art sculptures? I mean, what are we looking at? Because there's art everywhere when we look at our buildings, right? So which one are we saying this one is under our purview and this one is not? I mean, how are we going to differentiate the two?
We don't know what's under our purview and isn't, but we're assuming that anything, whether it's a painting, an art photograph, or any kind of visual art, be it sculpture, be it on the wall, be it an assemblage, whatever it is, if it's in a public space, it would be accounted for, and we would understand maybe how it got there. Some things we won't. But certain things, I think what triggered the question is that recently things have shown up that we weren't aware of. And as far as historic documentation is concerned, like pictures of old Glendale, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's just an example
Okay.
I thought of.
To me, I've worn different hats at different times, and I don't see that. It might look artistic, but a picture of the Brand Library can be beautiful, but if we're talking about old pictures, we're talking about the city's history, and it's more of a journalistic, documentarian type of a thing. So I would not include those. I know there are a number of pictures up at the Brand Library on display of old Glendale, and there probably are in other city buildings. And, that's something maybe the Historic Preservation Commission should concern themselves with, but I wouldn't count that as art that's under our mandate. That's my personal opinion. And let's have a round of.
Well, if I could just make one more comment before we move forward. I'm just concerned about any overreach by the commission for certain pieces. If, let's say, the decor in the library. I mean, it's like when the construction happened, certain art pieces were put up as for decor purposes. Is that something that we're going to be saying that's under our purview and we either like or don't like, and that has to go through our guidelines? I mean, where is the fine line of where we stop giving our opinion?
Which art are you referring to?
I'm not talking about like a specific piece of art. I'm just saying, where does our reach stop?
I have a feeling that there might be some situations like that, and I think it would be art specific. So I don't think we're going to have that many that we're going to be like, oh my gosh, is this part of our purview or is it not?
So it's minimal and just do it as it
I
is.
think that's going to be minimal, and then we'll just deal with it as it comes up.
Right, we can take things on a case-by-case basis, too. I think through staff, right now, I don't know what I forgot about the policy myself, and I don't remember what it says, but I know staff assesses new things, and if there's any question about something crossing a line or being in the gray zone, we can discuss it at the commission and decide what we're going to do, and I think we have the right to approve it ourselves if we decide that, but certainly case by case is
Then
going to
let's
be
think-
part of this.
Let's include that in the language, is just what I'm saying, so it's specific when we read these guidelines.
Well, we'll say what we consider art, and that there may be cases where the commission will form an opinion on something. Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
Just to say that I don't necessarily think that all of these things need to be under the commission's purview. I think it's more just a deeper understanding of the process, and if guidelines around that process should be shifted. Like maybe it should still remain with staff and not necessarily have us weighing in.
I'm not suggesting
But
that
it's just
we
sort of,
get involved.
yeah, just sort of reconsidering what the process currently is and where there might be gaps. Yeah.
Agree. Okay.
May I comment on the process? So I wanted to just quickly comment on Vice Chair Yank's comments. We've been working with several interns over the past few years to document all of the public art that's in the city. So on our Glendale Public Art Map, we're slowly adding more and more, specifically paintings and things that are in municipal buildings, which we can absolutely share with you, the updated archive. I do know that Loreto and her team are going to be working on a civic art equity assessment, specifically regarding to Commissioner Yank's point about are we seeing equitable representation of our artworks throughout the city? That's another thing that we're going to be working on as well. But we can definitely look at the guidelines and provide you with some recommendations for updates in a future meeting.
Okay, thank you. What exactly do you mean by equitable? I wasn't sure that.
Mainly wanting to ensure that the artists who we're representing amongst the city are reflective of the diversity of the city. So we're going to be doing a thorough assessment of who those artists are, what the artworks represent, and if that's reflective of our current demographics of our city.
Okay. And I think it's really important for, when we finally get this organized and we have a solid inventory and we have a procedure that we all agree on, that we make sure everybody in the city understands it. Thanks.
Thank you
very
for
much,
bringing that up.
everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Next item.
Agenda item 7C, 2023 to 2024 work plan progress updates.
Commissioners, we are still in the progress of working on our mural ordinance steadily and surely. We are at a final draft. We're very helpful that we'll get that reviewed and approved and shared that with you as soon as possible. We do have an update regarding creative crosswalks. The Public Works Department did reach out to us specifically regarding the South Verdugo Road Multimodal Improvements Project. So we have an opportunity to install 2 creative crosswalk locations on South Verdugo Road, specifically on Verdugo Road and Maple, which is 4 crosswalks, and Verdugo Road and Acacia Way, which is 3 crosswalks. Thank you so much to Commissioner Sadorian, who helped us review the proposals for those specific intersections. I wanted to go to the next slide. Specifically for Verdugo Road and Acacia Avenue, we're recommending the creative crosswalk design entitled Harmony Across Heritage by Sandrine Mamigonian. This would be 4 creative crosswalks within this intersection. And then the next slide is Verdugo Road and Maple Street. The proposal is called Native by Jesus Hernandez, and this would include 3 crosswalks on this specific location. But wanted to share those with you for your consideration.
Anybody have any comments?
Question.
Commissioner Yang?
Oh, I was just going to say they look beautiful, and thank you to Commissioner Storian for selecting those.
Commissioner
Yes.
Tufekian?
They look beautiful. Very, very nice. Thank you. Question for Brand Boulevard. Did any of those come through us? I don't feel like I saw those.
are
I
they?
think on Brand, north of Glen Oaks, there's some, maybe it's not crosswalk, maybe it's just on the corners of the
The bike lanes.
parkings, but there's some floor
There's like
murals,
some-
so I was
Yeah,
wondering.
by the new bike lanes that they're
Yeah.
constructing, there's like there's a thing there. Sorry.
Butter finish.
Yeah, she was confused. So sorry.
I do think that's a Public Works project, and they're doing different various interactions of the street. So I think that was overseen by them. Those did not come. You're correct. Did not come through the commission.
Okay.
I'm just happy about this, and it was the staff really that did all the hard work. I just got to show up and say, yeah, these are beautiful. Let's move forward with them. So thank you to the staff.
Commissioner Bogosian?
They're beautiful. I want to thank Commissioner Zadorian for selecting them and taking your time to choose the best ones.
Thank you.
Nice choices.
Thank you. They're going to look
Wonderful.
amazing.
It's my neighborhood. I'm happy.
In regard to future updates, we do have the Student Ex Officio Commissioner opportunity is going to open. Our 2 commissioners serve a 1-year term, so we are looking for future commissioners. The application is currently open and closes on July 15th, and we are eagerly hoping to welcome 2 new commissioners. In regard to Beyond the Box, as Loreto had mentioned earlier, we do have the Beyond the Box application that's currently open. We intentionally moved it up this year with the hope of garnering more interest from students. So the application closes, I think, June 21st, and we're really pushing towards GUSD, GCC, Art Center, local colleges and schools to encourage a proposal application for the program. And I think those are the updates.
Okay, we'll go to comments then.
Yeah, agenda item 8, commission and staff comments.
No comments.
Commissioner Tufenkian.
Just a big thank you to staff and all your hard work.
I would just like to make one comment. Last month was obviously Armenian Heritage Month, and we had an amazing event at the Alex Theater. So I just want to give a shout out to the Armenian Genocide Committee that kind of came up with an amazing week of events. One of those was the Poets Against Genocide, which was very well attended and incredibly successful. And then the Babo Children's event, which consisted of children, sitting on rugs on Artsakh Street, being read by an amazing Armenian author. And I want to give a specific shout out to Stephanie Mukhlian, the Legislative Affairs and Communications Manager at the city, and Nairi Bandari from GTV6, and I hope she's watching. She did an incredible job on the video that was shown at the Alex Theater. I hope some of you were there to attend. It was an incredible event, very successful, and we're looking forward to next year. So thank you to the committee that I'm also a part of.
Thank you for all the work you did.
Thank you.
I have a comment. I would like us to think about, I've been reading little dribs and drabs here and there lately, and I think even though it seems like a long way off, we need to seriously start considering the Olympics of 28. And I certainly would hope that our commission and the arts would be very much a part of that, and that we would move toward celebrating that. I mean, it is actually one of the most ultimate diverse world, globally recognized events in the world, and we should somehow get going on that. I'm very, very interested in it. I'd love somehow to be involved, and I would certainly love the commission to be involved, and I wonder if the city of Glendale has begun the process, find out what's going on, if you could look into that and give us a status report.
Absolutely. I think that's a great recommendation. At the very least, we can definitely entertain an idea of the commission having a subcommittee specifically focused on arts and culture, which I think would be an idea to talk about. I do know I did attend yesterday, actually, a meeting with the LA County Municipal Arts Funders, and several municipalities, including the city of Santa Monica, city of West Hollywood, and city of Culver City, have already begun their process for planning for the Olympics in 2028. So I think that's a great suggestion to have that.
Amazing.
Great, we'll look forward to that. And maybe sometime in the near future, it'll be an agenda item. Okay. The next item is,
I don't have any comments.
you don't have any comments?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry.
It's okay.
Do we have anything else anybody wants to add before we adjourn the meeting?
All right, agenda item 9, adjournment.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Have to have a motion to move to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, all right. So moved.
Okay. And a second.
Seconded.
So moved.